Hi everyone, and welcome to Alta Live. As usual, if you're familiar with the program, it takes a couple of seconds for our crowd to fill into our digital Zoom room. The Metaverse is actually what we're going to be talking about today. Today, we're going to try and wrap our heads around NFTs. Alta Journal Associate Editor Ajay Orona detailed the dramatic rise of non-fungible tokens, better known as NFTs, in his feature article in the latest issue of Alta. In many ways, AJ's article helped me better understand this super complicated form of artwork, and I still have many questions. For example, is this artwork? AJ joins us today to help us make sense of NFTs and share some examples of what they look like and how they work and what we might do with them. Before we begin and before I start asking AJ a million questions, some brief housekeeping. Alta Live is the digital interview series we do here at Alta Journal. My name is Beth Spotswood. I'm Alta's digital editor. If you're unfamiliar with us, Alta Journal is a quarterly magazine, award-winning quarterly magazine focused on California and the West. If you like what we do here today, I hope you will check out our website, altaonline.com. We host this weekly series every Wednesday at 12:30. We also host the California Book Club. In fact, on April 21st, our guest is Michael Conley, creator of the Bosch series. So please join us for that. We've got a special deal going, a discount on Alta subscriptions and memberships, which we will pop into the chat as well as shoot you an email because this interview is being recorded. So check your email later today. We will send you a video of this entire interview, as well as links to AJ's article, more info about NFTs, an invitation to next week's guest, Griffin Dunn, as well as the California Book Club. There's a Q&A button at the bottom of the screen. Please use that to ask questions for AJ. We're going to chat for about 30 minutes and then get to as many of your questions as possible. It's great to get the chat started by letting us know where you're tuning in from. I am in Novato, California. AJ, welcome. And where are you?
I'm in Claremont, California. Beautiful Claremont, California.
Beautiful Claremont. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining us. I get to talk to you all the time, but it's nice to have you here on Alta Live. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So hi, everyone. LA, Venice Beach, San Francisco, El Sobrante, Cupertino. It's great to see everyone today. All right. So AJ, NFTs.
Yeah.
Can you, in as few words as possible, we all kind of know what NFTs are, and you do an amazing job in your article of breaking it down. But can you give us a Cliff Notes? What is an NFT?
Okay. So the way I always start is by saying an NFT can be anything that can be digitized. So let's pretend you paint, right, Beth? Do you paint? So Let's say you painted a picture of a turtle and you took a picture of it and you wanted to mint it as an NFT. You can do that. And I'll get into minting later. But anything that can be digitized can be an NFT. An NFT is a digital asset that is stored on a blockchain. We can go into that later too. So essentially, an NFT is anything that you want to show or prove that you own in the digital space. That could be art. It could be a file, it could just be a record, it could be anything. And that's what led me to going, are these things artwork? These other types of NFTs that are very popular, like the Bored Ape Yacht Club, Bears Deluxe, there's all these series that people are buying and spending a lot of money on. So the most popular NFTs is what led me to think and to question if they're art. But hope that answers your first question. What is it? It could be anything.
Yeah, let's look at, as we talk about these, let's look at these. Okay, now AJ, I got to admit, this is not seeming like particularly special artwork to me. This is an NFT. Who is this?
That is a character from the Bored Ape series. The Bored Ape series.
And so this does not exist other than visually on the internet or in the digital space. It is not a painting. It is not a physical item. It is a digital image. There is only theoretically one of these with this specific, I don't know, NFT, like this token.
Yes.
And someone owns this for either $1 or $100,000 or $1 million.
Right.
What do they do with it?
Nothing. So this is the whole point of the NFT is to say, I own this specific avatar in this series. So let's call this guy Crown, right?
Okay.
So let's say you bought Crown for 6 Ethereum, 6 ETH. That will cost, say, $30,000. So
That's
you bought
cryptocurrency is okay.
the cryptocurrency. Yes, I'm speaking in crypto. So
Thanks.
let's say you purchased this character. Well,
Do you have to wait quickly? Do you have to use crypto to purchase NFTs? Does it only exist in the crypto
yes,
stratosphere? Okay.
yes, and most commonly the Ethereum cryptocurrency.
Okay.
That's,
You can't hand someone $20 bill or
no,
Venmo them. Okay.
no. I think there's a platform called OpenSea that's working on something like that, but no, right now you have to use cryptocurrency to buy an NFT. So,
Okay.
like you said, what can I do with it? Well, not much. You can look at it just like you do other artwork, but this is digital. However, anyone can say that they own this. So I could take a screenshot of this right now, and then I can say I own it. What the NFT is really is a digital receipt. It's stored on the ledger, the digital ledger, which is the blockchain technology that proves, it shows transactions and that anyone can look at. So someone looked at it, they would see Beth bought this for this amount of money, proving that you are the sole owner of this and yours is the authentic one. So if anyone steals it, essentially all it is bragging rights and saying that I have the original one. That is what is driving this NFT craze.
When someone purchases an NFT, here's another one. Okay. All right.
I think that last one was Jimmy Fallon's.
Oh, this is Jimmy Fallon's?
I believe so.
Okay. So if Jimmy Fallon has purchased this is Jimmy Fallon's NFT. Does he have like a screen up in his living room that displays this, or is this just something that is in his iPhone hung, he just has, it's like having a stock in that sense. It's like owning,
Yes.
20 shares of whatever. Do people display these in any capacity, or it's really, I'm just not getting the artwork component of this. Why do you might as well just make it a bunch of random numbers and say that you own this.
Okay, well, here you're hitting on something pretty interesting. So as far as these type of computer generated, and all of these that we've been looking at are computer generated. They're built using an algorithm. So the creators would have typed in polo shirt, sailor hat, heart glasses, with thousands of other types of variants, right? And then when they pump this into the algorithm, it shoots out these things randomly. And so in other words, the creators didn't necessarily envision this specific avatar. It got spat out by the algorithm. So this is one type of NFT art, okay? But there are very traditional art gallerists and dealers and sellers and enthusiasts who are using the NFT technology to prove ownership of other types of art that we would look at and go, wow, that is truly stunning, great art.
I'm not getting that from this image right now.
Not this. So all of these right here are kind of the very popular ones. This is CryptoPunks. This was one of the first NFTs ever made. And there were 10,000 of them made in 2017 by a studio called Larva Labs. And most of them were given away for free in the beginning. Right now, the cheapest one is about $300,000. What? Yes.
The cheapest one of like Cowboy guy right here.
Cowboy will cost you more than $250,000. Yeah.
This is like 35 squares of color. Okay. And so if you own Cowboy, if you, AJ, owned Cowboy,
right,
you've just got, how do you prove that you own it?
Well,
and do you own it and you're just hanging on to it in the hopes that if it's worth $500,000 now, it'll be worth $1 million in 1 year or 10 years?
Yeah, that's one component. So a lot of people buy it hoping that it's just going to increase in value and they're going to turn it and sell it later for profit, which a lot of people have. A lot of people have done that with NFTs. People have done that with crypto itself in the very beginning. When Bitcoin was much more affordable. I think now it's like 50,000 for one little Bitcoin. But so some people, they do look at it, and some people do consider this art, and that's what was so fascinating. As I went down this digital rabbit hole, some people look at this and they say, no, this is art, even though it's 24 pixelated, bits of color. They say, no, it's art because it's at the forefront of this digital revolution that we all may soon enter. And when they're talking like that, they're talking about the Metaverse, they're talking about Web3 and how all these things connect. If you want me to define any of these terms, I'll be more than happy to. But it's pretty hard to define though, because none of it yet is in existence. This is all visions. These are all ideas that people are throwing a lot of money behind. But what they're saying is this avatar, these cyberpunks they're the first of their kind of types of art and avatars that we'll be using in the metaverse. So it's kind of like they're saying, hey, this is like the earliest PCs, these are the earliest Apple computers or whatever. This is the first of its kind. Therefore, these particular characters have a lot of value.
Even though they look like 1980s video game art.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. At best.
I mean, really at best.
So these last two, the ape that you looked at, the gorilla, and then now these bears, these touch on something else that is kind of happening in these NFT spaces where people are creating these online communities. And I mean, they say other people who own these other NFTs are like their family. They're like, these are like my brothers, my sisters. They're closer to me than my real family. And I know they even have some meetups in real life now. I've been trailing some of these people. And I mean, they have these entire like kind of video game planets that they're building using these NFT characters to navigate. So like I said earlier, they see these NFTs as avatars that will allow them to explore and access goods in the metaverse. So they see these things not only as artwork, but as huge investments and the way into the future. But the excitement around these things is just, it's fascinating and also just inexplicable.
Inexplicable, and yet we're asking you to explain it today. All right, so first of all, can you just define metaverse?
So the metaverse is not yet real. It's not in existence, but think of it as the Sandbox or Decentraland or Second Life or any of these kind of games that allow you to play in virtual reality. But imagine if all these games were connected and you can go in there and you can purchase things and you can meet up with people, and it looked much, much better than virtual reality looks now. Essentially, that's what the metaverse is.
Okay.
And that's the most kind of commonly accepted definition, and that's mine. But if you ask someone else, they'll give you a different definition because it doesn't yet exist. But that being said, Zuckerberg last year vowed to spend $10 billion trying to build this metaverse. So yeah, it's not anything we can touch or anything that we can interact with yet. People really believe in it. And they most believe that by 2030, we'll be able to access the metaverse as easily as we hop on Facebook.
All right. I mean, it's difficult, I think, for us to wrap our heads around something like a metaverse, kind of the intangibles. I'm sure as it was 50 years ago for people to wrap their head around the internet or something like that. Is this going to be the reality? Or you and I both have little kids. Is this going to be the norm to them as the internet is to us, or, you know, cable TV or free long distance calls or whatever? Is this metaverse, is this kind of NFT cryptocurrency world going to be the norm? And we're going to be the old fogies that just still don't understand it in 20 and 30 years?
Yes, but in some ways, yes, some ways, no. Let's start with the NFT. So I spoke with Steven Sachs. He's the founder and owner of Bitforms Gallery. He started it in 2001. And back then it was cutting edge digital art. He still does, but a lot different than these kind of NFTs that we're looking at earlier, where they just look like pixelated colors. I mean, yeah. the art that he purchases and promotes, it's fascinating. For instance, one is like it's a mirror that has wood over it. So it mirrors your image, but with wood instead of glass. So, I mean, people stand in front of it and they're just amazed, right? It's truly, I don't feel like I'm convincing you, but
no, you're not.
Okay.
But okay, all right, I trust you, I believe you.
Okay, so what I believe is that the NFT technology is here to stay. Okay, I don't think people are going to keep selling and buying those pixelated bears and apes for hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's going to die down. But the NFT technology approving digital ownership, that's here to stay. And I feel like it's created, it has so much momentum behind it right now. It's not going to die down anytime soon. And I think it's really changing our ideas of what you can and cannot own in the digital realm.
Right. Well, it's just a really modern way of authenticating ownership.
Absolutely.
You could
And
do it with my house.
Can I NFT your house?
Well, I mean, it's just using technology to prove ownership of something. You could, by the way, you can buy a digital subscription to Alta Journal for $3 a month. Do you own it? There it is, right? AJ's article is in here. But so it's a very, could you NFT, and I realize I have so many questions. Could you NFT the Mona Lisa? Could you take the Mona Lisa? You don't even have to pixelate it. Could you take a picture of it, draw a mustache on it? I don't know, and make that an NFT.
Absolutely. And so here, this gets into some ethical dilemmas and tricky situations. So who owns the Mona Lisa? Is it the Louvre? So say if the Louvre took a picture of the Mona Lisa, that's all it would be a picture, like a high resolution JPEG, right? Or maybe a PNG because it'd be digital, right? And then they would then go sell that on a platform like OpenSea where you can go buy it and go buy that NFT. Well, here's the thing. Let's say you spend 2 million, let's just say 2 million on this. Right? Hey, good deal for the Mona Lisa. So you spend for 2 million on the digital NFT of the Mona Lisa. It's now Beth Spotswood's. But here's the thing. If anyone else went and took a screenshot of it, people will kind of laugh at them in the digital space. They'll say, that's not the real thing. We know that Beth owns it because we could look at the digital ledger, the blockchain technology that shows she's the owner. And no one else will want to buy the screenshots. They want to buy yours. So you can sell it later for a lot of money. However, nothing can stop me from taking a picture of yours, like making a screenshot and then minting it myself as a new NFT. So in this case, the Mona Lisa would be so high profile that nobody would want mine. But in other cases, let's say you spent 5,000, you're an up and coming artist, and someone spent 5,000 on your artwork, or they're going to. Okay, but let's say before it's sold, someone else then takes a screenshot and mints it into a new NFT. Well, who's to say which one's the original now? Which is the original NFT is what I'm saying.
Shouldn't the blockchain tell you which is the original? Now, let's get into the questions. We're getting a lot of them. Okay. Bill asks, is there any way that someone could hack the blockchain and tamper with or change the digital ledger of transactions? Instead of just screenshotting my NFT of the Mona Lisa, can't someone just hack into my blockchain or the blockchain and be like, beep, boop, bop, AJ owns it now?
It would be incredibly, incredibly hard to do. And from what I've read, no one's been able to do anything like that yet. There has been cryptocurrency theft, but that's a different issue. And that has to do with how the whole technology is set up from the beginning. They call it the smart contracts, and they're able to manipulate these I won't get into that, how they're able to manipulate the smart contracts. But so far with these purchases, they're not able to go in because the code is so exhaustive. It's so immense. So it's not like they can just go boppity boopity and change it. It's near impossible to do. I'm not saying it is impossible. Maybe someone will do it, but I see a new question coming in. But yeah, at this point, no. They have stolen a lot of crypto, but not a lot of NFTs have been stolen.
What is the difference between people who buy, in your article, you reference Christie's selling this $60 million NFT. Yeah. I can't imagine any way, or 60 million, an NFT. But I can't imagine any way that in 10 years from now, when this becomes much less of a novelty, that this will sell for more than $60 million. Isn't this like the people who in the 90s bought Beanie Babies thinking that now in 2022, their Beanie Babies would be worth millions of dollars? Isn't it just a trend that we're all getting so excited about, but it's really just going to $60 million for a digital image that you can't do anything with other than put in your digital wallet. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So will this go the way of Beanie Babies, or as I mentioned earlier, the packaged Star Wars figurine that my husband is hanging on to for dear life because it's going to make us rich one day?
Yeah, most of these will go the way of the Beanie Baby.
Okay. Most
of them by far will go the way of the Beanie Baby. Some, I think, like the CryptoPunks, will not, just because they have now like a cultural significance and relevance. So think of some like Pokemon cards where they had great value, they dipped, and now they're back again. And,
Are they?
oh yeah, $100,000 for a Charizard card right now. That's the dragon that breathes out the fire.
Of course it is, AJ. Pokemon cards. Are sophisticated investors doing this? I mean, when we talk about things like Pokemon cards and digital images of a gorilla smoking a cigarette or whatever it is, a guy in a, captain's hat, are serious financial investors doing this? Or is it, as your article begins with, a 19-year-old that's like, screw you, everyone, I'm making money.
Right.
Are serious financial investors participating in this?
Yes, they are. And kind of where like the 19-year-old you referenced, they have a whole different vision of what's going to happen with these. They're kind of like banking on the metaverse. These other sophisticated investors, the ones with very, very deep pockets, what they're seeing it is kind of like, you buy this NFT, it gets you, it's kind of like stock in a company where
Right.
you get to participate now or own part of this future enterprise that we're starting. For instance, there was like this, there's one, I forgot, it was with something with a camel, and you could buy like a digital camel, and it allowed you to part ownership of a future Hollywood movie that they claim is going to make tons and tons and tons of money. So there's a lot of those projects happening, which some can be legit and some of course can be just huge scams. But to answer your question, yes, they are sophisticated investors getting into this and even selling the very like pixelated series type of NFTs.
Tracy asks, are the people who buy excited about the thing that they buy? Or are they just looking at it as potential value? Is it just an investment to them, or are they genuinely excited about this art? And to that extent, the two-parter, do the people who create it regard it as art, or are they just going beep boop bop and trying to make money?
Yeah, the people who create it consider it art. They consider it art. They consider it computer art. It's like the art of the future. That this is the art that we're going to see and interact with in the metaverse. This is the art that we're going to value when our lives go more and more digital. To answer about how the people who purchase it, well, there's no like one size fits all. I've spoken to people who go, this is ridiculous. Like I just buy this and I flip them for money. If I can sell like a bow and arrow, like I know of a person who bought a digital bow and arrow and they sold it as like an in-game online game accessory.
Right.
He said, well, I'll do that so then I could buy a car for my family. There's some people who are like, it's not art at all. Others are very passionate, like, no, this is definitely art. It's like I said earlier, it's the art of the future, and they consider it beautiful, even the pixelated bears and apes and stuff. And interestingly, a lot of those people, it's almost like these NFTs have been gateway, gateway art into like other forms of art. Like now they're more interested in more traditional types of art and oil paintings and the masters of the past. And they're selling some of their NFTs to buy like, more traditional art, which is really fascinating. It just constantly keeps bridging the gap between digital and real.
Mark asks, it seems like it might make more sense to hold the title of a house. Wouldn't an NFT be more appropriately used to hold the title of something like this that is
concrete, something real?
Yes. Yeah. Or can it also be used for that? Can I use a blockchain to prove ownership of my 15-year-old car outside?
Yeah, you can. And that's where they believe that that we're headed with Web3, which is, I would say, the quickest explanation is
what's Web3?
Yeah. So let's go with Web 1. It's hey, the World Wide Web, it's here.
Sure.
Web 2, it's kind of where we're at right now, social media, we're connecting, and a lot of this is very centralized. A lot of these conversations, Metaverse, Web 3, it's all about, if you could boil it down to its guts, it's centralization versus decentralization. Okay, so the everyone kind of pushing forward the Web 3, they're saying we have to be decentralized, and that's the future of not only money and internet, but of democracy. We have to be decentralized, because if just a few control the many, that's not good. And society's in for a world of hurt. I'm not saying I advocate for any of this. I'm saying this is what I explored, and it's fascinating.
What do you mean by decentralized?
Yeah, meaning like like a bank, it's centralized. The money, you have to go to the bank to get the money. The bank approves your transactions. The bank stores everybody's money. Or if it's decentralized, there's no one owner. There's no one person who gets to make all the rules. It's all the users who have a say in what is happening. All the users that get to say if they get approved transactions or not. And it gets very, very complicated. And again, they're using blockchain technology to do this because it's so open and it's so transparent. So yeah, I think I went down a little bit of a rabbit trail there.
Well, there are so many. I mean, my God, talk about rabbit holes. There's when we open the door of the NFT conversation, we get into there's 8 million different directions that we can go in. And so I appreciate you trying to kind of piece it together for us because it is really complicated. Kay Warner asks what I think is a great question. Is there a way that if someone clicks on an NFT, you could get a kickback as opposed to selling these things, almost like clicking on an ad? Could you make money? Do people make money with NFT artwork that way?
Is she talking just Kim, do you mean by like royalties? Like
I guess, I mean, if I take a picture of, of anything, if I take, here's my phone, look, take a screenshot of this. If every time someone clicks on that, and do I get a penny? I mean, do people use their NFTs that way, or is it only something that you own and sell?
Own and sell. That's it. That's how it's being used. But let's say you wanted to make your own NFT, and I can get into that right now if you want to.
Great.
If you want me to. Okay. So how do you mint? And that's the verb here. That's the word that they use. Mint. How do you mint an NFT? Right. So
make, create.
Make, create.
Okay.
Yeah. Essentially, well, you can make it by drawing a picture of. I'll use the turtle again. You could draw a picture of a turtle, right? That's you making something concrete.
Okay.
And you take a picture of it, you digitize it, right? That doesn't make it an NFT. What makes it an NFT is when that image is put on the blockchain. That is what they call mint. It becomes an NFT, a non-fungible token, when that image or that digital asset is backed by the blockchain technology. Let's just say it's Ethereum, right? So that's the blockchain that asset will be stored on. Just think of it as like a digital receipt, digital ledger. Now that your image has now become part of something that people can look at, people can see the history of when it was minted and who owns it. That's all an NFT really is. It's the technology behind this asset that you created. So
it sucks.
Well, I mean, it sucks unless you want. Someone said like a library card.
Yeah.
I think that was my wife.
Hi, Lauren.
So, okay, let's stay with the with the turtle. Okay, so like you're like, hey, I've got this picture of a turtle. I'm gonna make money with this. So, and I'm keeping Kim's question in the back of my head about the royalties. So you have the turtle. You go to MetaMask, metamask.io. A lot of these crypto NFT platforms use .io, which I think is like British Indian Ocean. I don't know how they co-opted that, but so tech always trade. Yes. So you have the turtle. You go on MetaMask. You create your digital wallet. Essentially, you then. I guess this is complicated a little bit, but you have to make sure there's funds inside that digital wallet. Let's already say you already have crypto. You already have.
It's got to be crypto, and you have to have it in your digital wallet. And now we've created a turtle.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you are creating the turtle, so you have MetaMask.
Oh, right. I'm creating the turtle. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Or let me say you've already created the turtle. We are minting the turtle right now. So we have MetaMask. Make sure there's money in your MetaMask wallet. You go to OpenSea, which is the biggest trading platform where people buy and sell NFTs, right? So now we're on OpenSea. You go to the top right tab, and you click create.
Anna, this is hopefully answering your question. Okay.
Yes. So don't worry about the technology behind it. The computer does most of it. You fill out a few forms. Boom, your turtle that you.
And I upload my turtle.
You upload your turtle, and that turtle gets synced with the blockchain technology. And now your turtle is an NFT turtle.
Do I price the turtle, or does the marketplace determine the value of the turtle?
You price the turtle, and you also get to say how much royalties you want to take if that turtle keeps getting sold. So let's say you make that turtle, you mint that turtle, I buy that turtle for $100. And then let's say after a few days, I'm like, I don't really like this turtle. I have no idea why I bought Beth's turtle. I sell Beth's turtle, and then, I'm sure it would be a great turtle, but let's say I sell it, someone else buys it. Well, you get the royalties. You get 10% of that next sale.
Oh, I could get the forever sales.
Forever sales. So that's why I'm saying the technology, I believe, is here to stay.
So Deborah's asking, does the creation of an NFT cost money? It doesn't sound, it depends on what you use, I guess. How you create the turtle.
Some sites will charge you. Some sites will charge you to.
Do you have to use specific digital tools to create an NFT, or can I draw a turtle on a piece of paper from a tree, take a picture of it, and upload it into the?
Yes, you can do that. You can get the picture.
So it doesn't necessarily cost money to make.
Does not necessarily cost money
and a phone.
But the ones that are making money are the ones that kind of cost money to make. Most of them are made on digital tools like Adobe Illustrator or whatever they use to generate those like large numbers of NFT collections, like the CryptoPunks. There's 10,000 avatars. There's not one artist drawing each one.
What do traditional, and I use the word traditional very broadly, but traditional artists who create what I would regard as art, I guess, how do they feel about this and the use of the word art to describe NFTs?
Right. I spoke with so many artists, and believe it or not, most were ambivalent. Some didn't even know what NFTs were. Some were like, oh, I've heard of that. They're artists. They're making their art. They're not, I feel like business people and tech people are more into NFTs than artists. Like, they're like, oh, I don't know. With the exception of Steven Sachs from Bitform's gallery. He's like, yeah, I'm going to use these other types of digital art that I've been selling too. I'm going to use NFTs to sell more of my art, and he has done that. NFTs have actually been good for his gallery. So some are using, like a painting of Monet, and they're attaching an NFT to it and saying this is the NFT record for this this old classic painting by Monet.
Well, I guess that goes back to Mark's point that you can just attach an NFT to anything that you own.
Right.
I can attach an NFT to this mug, and now there's proof that I own this mug.
Right. It just would be
hard. Not art.
Yeah, that would just be hard to prove. A mug, like, is that the mug that's attached to the NFT? It's easier in the digital space actually to do that.
Right. Okay. Yeah. All right. Robert asks, can a spoken word, song, sound effect be an NFT? You touch upon this in your article. Can a magazine be an NFT?
A magazine could be an NFT. A book could be an NFT. And a song can definitely be an NFT. Jack Dorsey, former CEO of Twitter, is currently working on how to do that in a very viable way. People have already done it, but he's like, how do we streamline this? How do we make it where the creator can get more profit, and also the buyer has more value with that product? So yeah, you can make a sound into an NFT.
As we run out of time, I'm going to end with Tracy's question, because I think it gets to kind of the heart of your article. And I think kind of the broader question about this, just to recap, it is an incredibly complex metaverse Web3 world. There's no way we can condense that into at least someone like me, who does not work in, the Web3 world, to understand right now. But in terms of NFT and considering it art, Tracy asks, how and where does quality or beauty come into this, if at all? Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, that's a good question. It depends. It depends on, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Some people look at these pixelated little creatures and they're like, this is the most darling thing I've ever seen. And others,
Sure.
this is ridiculous. And I feel like most people look at it and say it's ridiculous. But again, it's not just these pixelated creatures. Anything can be an NFT. So there are some things that you'll find on OpenSea or other NFT platforms that are truly marvelous. You look at it and you go, oh, this is beautiful. The fact that there's NFT technology behind it doesn't change how good it looks.
Yeah. I mean, you know, to the point of some people think Thomas Kincaid is the most brilliant artist that's ever worked, and other people find his work atrocious.
Right.
It is in the art of the beaver. I kind of think he works a lot harder than me drawing a turtle on his paintings, but nonetheless, right. I see your point. But as Tracy kind of ends this, it seems like you're talking more about value. And that's at the heart of NFTs, is that they are used almost exclusively in the cryptocurrency world to hold value, to hold resource,
yes,
in some capacity, equity.
But what I find so fascinating with them, and maybe that'd be the last statement I make about it, is I can't remember anything in my lifetime that touches on technology, a monetary system, and art like an NFT. Like, when do we have to have these huge, interesting conversations about one thing that kind of connects all of that? To me, that's fascinating. That's what drove me to ask the questions that led to the article. So yes, it is about value, but it's also about beauty. It's also about, it touches on so many different things.
It's gigantic. It's a humongous topic. And I'm so grateful to you, not only for your excellent article in Alta, but for taking the time to try and explain it to us. I read your article 3 times and I'm still like, Ajay, I have more questions.
That's right.
It's gigantic. The topic is gigantic, and you do a great job of starting to break it down for us. So thank you. Before we go, I want to invite everyone. Next week, Griffin Dunn joins us. He'll be in conversation with Alta's managing editor, Blaise Zariga, to talk about his documentary about his aunt, Joan Didion. You might know Griffin Dunn from his work. He's a very famous actor. He's a director. He's a writer, but his aunt is Joan Didion, and he wrote a beautiful essay in our current issue about making a documentary about her. So please join us for that. Again, we're going to shoot you an email later this afternoon with much of what we talked about today. Ajay, it's really fun to work with you. Thank you so much for taking the time today.
Of course.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.